Nosipho here from Intentional Living, and this is my partner here, Omega. We are presenting to you our segment called Intentional Relationships, and today we are talking about relationship struggles in South Africa. We know relationship struggles worldwide, and we are all always trying to be better at relating to each other and having relationships that are healthy and thriving. But I think being South African has a bit of a stronger challenge and a stronger sort of frame for us to actually know.
We are speaking about ordinary, normal people who do normal things. So so abusers are obviously out of this. That's a problem women have in South Africa quite a lot. So yeah, that's a top one. So those are extraordinary, weird people who do bad things. So for guys, one of the core struggles that I pick up is women tend to not understand that we live in South Africa, which is a third world country, and that means most guys just aren't going to be rich. They're just not going to have like a lot of money. And because of just that lack of understanding from women, that ends up like putting like a lot of social pressure on guys to always present themselves in a certain way, even when they're not really that way, because the assumption is that I should be financially stable because I'm a guy and that's what's expected.
So what are you saying? You must settle for mediocre?
Well, I'm not saying we must settle for mediocrity, but what I am saying is we actually have to understand that reality about ourselves. It's like guys setting expectations for girls to always be like prim, proper, look like American women when we live in Africa.
Also, there must be a subpar standard because I live in South Africa.
Not that it must be subpar standard, but it must be understanding that there's certain things you can't do because you are in South Africa. All right, not because you don't want to do those things, not because you don't want to rise to a certain level, but because you are in South Africa, I must understand that you're always going to be in a process of getting there, not there yet. And that's what I'm trying to point out, that our country is still in a process of getting somewhere, meaning the majority of us are in a process of getting somewhere. So most guys are in a process of getting financially stable, not that they are already. And so that's the reality, and that's the thing that people sometimes tend to not understand when meeting each other. We set standards based on American movies. That's the truth, and we forget that we are in South Africa, which is a third world country in Africa, not like in Asia, in Africa. So we can't set certain expectations for ourselves in terms of how we should be. So that's one challenge I know that guys have. I know it's a challenge that I used to have. All right, I emphasize used to have, but it's not a problem I have now.
How would that manifest for you?
Like you just expected to just do certain things, like okay, maybe understand for a birthday, like doing something special for a birthday. I get that, but every weekend or every day, like you expect to just deliver like these amazing experiences consistently, not realizing that, dude, I'm trying to build my finances here. I'm not trying to blow my money on a girl. Yes, I want to be with you. I want to work with you. I want to get us to where we want to get to. But I'm not here, trying to entertain your life. So if you want that, go to the US or Dubai. We know what happens there. But anyway, so what challenge do you say women would have in South Africa besides the more like gritty challenges?
The challenge I always see, and I experienced myself in relationships, and it lends itself to what you're saying in terms of we're in a third world country, is the expectations that men also play a role in actually raising. There's expectations that come in when we are meeting each other, and that are when the relationship is still new, that are set and now are seen as the standard for the relationship. Meanwhile, you as the guy that was approaching, or the guy that was courting this person, did not say, this is something that we're doing since we're still getting to know each other, and we're still in this phase of love is still high and attraction is still like palpable, and we're still like fascinated with each other. I think most of what we go into as women into relationship is this beautiful picture of what we are sold on the outside, but not the day-to-day running of the relationship itself, as to it's going to look like this. You must now not base what I'm doing right now, since we are in the process of getting to know each other, as the standard for the relationship, which I feel most guys actually don't put it out there strong enough that, dude, this is not going to be the standard that is every day. I'm not going to be able to get you champagne popping every single night at some sort of whatever club, if you're the type, or we are not going to be now having adventures and going to Airbnb experiences that are out of this world, hot air ballooning every weekend. It's not going to be that sort of vibe, because I am here in my life and this is the priorities that I still have back home, firstly, and this is what I'm still trying in the big city to do for myself in order to have a long sort of long span of a career and a life that is suitable to the standard of life that I want to live. Most people don't communicate that properly, men. And women now take the expectation that they were given at first and use that as the bar for the actual relationship, meaning when that bar is no longer met, things become challenging, because there's day and night now. The mundaneness of every day, the routine of every day, and the lack of variety of every day now seems to be a drag in the experience of the relationship. Meanwhile, it's just normal. What would have happened in this relationship had you communicated that this is the normal?
Okay, but now is this guy dealing with an adult or a
the guy is dealing with an adult, but
because an adult should know that.
But that's the thing. Should. And actually what normally happens in a relationship are two different things.
Yeah, no, that's
because
true.
Communication is not the front sort of thing, and expectations seems to be expectations that are unspoken from both parties, and you're saying I should know because I'm an adult. That is you correlating.
Like I should know how to clean the dishes because I'm an adult.
Yeah, you should know how to do your own laundry.
You should know that life is going to get stale because you're an adult. Like what I'm trying to point out, like I hear the challenge that you're saying. I do hear the challenge you're saying. And it is one that's there. Guys do front load. I call it front loading, where they front load the good times, and then things get stale, and then the girl's like, oh, you don't take me out like you used to, or things have changed and whatever, and then things crash from there. That is something that guys do create. But on the other side of that challenge that you guys that you're saying girls have in South Africa, there's also women also in South Africa have certain expectations that are outside the bounds of being South African. That's another problem. We sit on YouTube and we watch Americans do this stuff. We watch Canadians, Europeans, Asians do all these cool things. And we tend to forget that, like I was saying earlier, that we're in Africa. There are things that a woman cannot expect of a South African man simply because he is in South Africa, and odds are will fall under a particular social class, especially when he's black, because he's in South Africa. Just like there are things that a guy cannot expect a girl to clearly understand and know because she's in fact in South Africa. I'll give an example. So there are like certain things that, like, if let's say I was to ever meet another lady, that I would not expect her to clearly fully understand because she's in South Africa. There are certain administrative things that I might not expect her to understand, certain financial things that I might not expect her to understand, simply because, we're in a third world country. Even the way that she behaves will be affected by the country that she's in. So there'll be a standard of behavior that I might have for her, but that I know some aspects of it she won't always do perfectly, because she's in South Africa. Things that we share, I don't expect us to share totally everything and to have her exclude her family of origin. Because we're in South Africa, most of the time when you're a person who works and you're a lady, you're still probably contributing back at home. Yeah. So there's certain things I can't expect on that front, that, okay, we're now together and it's just like what ours is ours, everybody else out. There's just, those expectations can't be there in South Africa. Maybe in the US they can be, but not here in South Africa. And so that's I think, like, I'm not countering your point, because your point is true and it's valid. Guys do set like a lot of expectations. We go hot air ballooning one weekend, and then next weekend we're on a helicopter, next weekend we're on a boat, next weekend we're in Cape Town, next weekend we're somewhere in Knysna, next weekend we're sipping wine. 6 months later, I'm tired. And you're now, but we haven't. I'm like, I was still courting you. Now I got what I wanted. I think that's it for today.
That is it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Please watch our video next week and see what we have in store. Bye bye.